right. We're Fanboy and the Snob. I'm Chris, and that's Chad. Yeah, we watched Guk Seong, or The Wailing, a 2016 Korean horror flick. 2 hours, two and a half, almost
2 hours and 40 minutes.
almost 3 hours long, and I want to say confusing, but not in a bad way.
Yeah, it's definitely a thinker movie.
It's an unsettling, strange.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a scary movie. It was just very unsettling.
Yeah,
It's what horror movies should be.
Right. It's like The Witch, which we almost watched, where it's not like boo the whole movie. It's more like, what the fuck's happening? Like the lack of explanation is what makes it good, but like not like they just kind of make things happen. Like lack of explanation, like wait, so you stab them 20 times and then your face lit up with boils and like you're wait, what? Hold on. Like that's this whole movie is wait, that's a naked Japanese man eating a deer? What?
Yeah, this movie, like you were saying before we started filming, it's like two movies.
Yeah, it's two movies. Or it feels like it's fucking 3 hours long, and it feels 3 hours long in a good way.
It feels like two different movies.
Yeah, there's the pre-shaman and post-shaman.
Yeah, the pre-shaman's more of like a normal
Murder
kind
mystery.
of murder mystery. Then it just kind of goes off the rails into just
fucking bananas.
right when those drums start, man.
The drums and the colors and the guys banging shit together, and you're like, huh?
Killing chickens.
Yeah,
left and
killing
right.
chickens left and right, dipping his face in their blood and spitting it on shit. Cool ceremony.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be there for more than 5 minutes. It was really, really, really loud.
I'd have a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were doing this. The cop dad and the stepmom, they were just standing there doing this, watching. I thought that was weird. I was like, what part of the ritual was that?
They were praying.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't know them.
I don't. I feel like if I knew more about fucking Korean shamanism and Christianity, I would have understood this movie. I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting so many Christian messages.
Well, it's South Korea. A lot of Christians there.
Yeah, but like the movie started with a Bible quote, and I remember being like, "Huh, that's weird." And then there's so many references to the Bible in the rest of the movie. Fucking weird. I've only read Genesis, so anything beyond the creation of the earth, I'm fucking lost when it comes to Christianity.
So the beginning is Cop Dad. We don't remember the names. We're not going to try to pronounce them.
I'm not going to butcher his name.
So we have Cop Dad waking up late, and his mother-in-law makes him eat breakfast.
Yep, makes him eat breakfast with his daughter, and I don't know if that's the maid or it's not the mom. I don't think it's the mom.
I think because there's a scene a little bit after where he's having sex with her in the car, and the daughter comes up, and they act like they got caught doing something.
But that could just be parents getting caught fucking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They don't explain it. They also say he sinned, but then he's like, but that was after. So how did I you know, you're accusing me of sinning before I sin.
That's why I thought maybe he was cheating on her,
and that's why I thought the lady in white was evil, because she lied to him. But she didn't. I don't know. She's a spirit. Maybe time's different for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
By the way, he's a bumbling idiot.
Bumbling.
The chief is like, "Why are you late?"
He's like, my mother-in-law was sick, and he was like,
the
fucking
mother-in-law
always with the
excuse.
Yeah, and they show up to a murder scene. And yeah, that guy's just leaning against the post, fucking bug-eyed and covered in boils, and there was a family stabbed to death. The kid didn't get killed, thankfully. That was a big important thing to our main character, was the kid didn't get hurt.
They saw the little shoe.
They
went to the neighbors.
That shoe that they saw there, I thought was the shoe they found in the Japanese guy's shrine. See, that's what I thought, but then you see the name and you're like, oh! And the weird cat monster in the roof. This movie's fucking weird.
Yeah, they never said what the cat monster was.
Oh, it's just an animal getting murdered above them, I guess, to create like a conduit for his evilness to infect the little girl, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Ugh.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the crow.
Maybe it was the lady sending a crow, the lady in white sending a crow to like help her.
Yeah, maybe.
And then the crow got murdered by whatever demonic entity the Japanese man was sending.
Yeah,
maybe.
But basically, he shows up and a bunch of people got murdered. And
there's like a serial killer in this small little Korean town. He's killed like 5 people at this point. Nobody knows who it is. and our bumbling cop idiot isn't even the lead detective. He's the guy they make stand outside the crime scene and go, nothing to see here, because he's so fucking useless.
Well, they were trying to get him to do something. Then he was that like lady was freaking out and everything.
Oh yeah, and attacked
he was
him.
like, "Fuck this, you guys go, go, go."
Yeah, he got attacked by the lady and laid in the dirt in front of everybody. And then instead of being a cop and handling the situation, because he's a coward. He's such a pussy in this movie. He's scared of everything.
He got braver towards the end.
Well,
when his daughter got fucked with.
Yeah, but that's also where the whole mushroom hallucination theory comes in, because he starts acting like a totally different character by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like angry and violent and irrational, and they said the mushrooms make you angry and violent. He gets a mob of people together to go murder a Japanese guy based off nothing, really.
Well, based off
racism.
No.
Yes!
The whole movie they're calling... This is in South Korea, and they're calling him the Jap.
The Jap moved in.
There's a mysterious Japanese old man that moved into town.
And do you know anything about Japanese-Korean relations?
They're not good.
Japan invaded Korea and just raped and murdered and enslaved everybody. Then the Koreans rose up.
That was a long time ago, though.
Koreans hate Japanese. Chinese hate Japanese. Japanese hate Koreans and Chinese. Chinese and Koreans hate each
Yeah, but
other.
we like Japan now. They should all just
We
get
like
over
Japan
it.
and Korea. Just fucking get over it. That's why I kept saying, wait for the American to show up and fix everything. That would have been a funny ending. Just an American. Hey, what's going on here?
Knock it off. Punch, punch.
Freedom. Justice.
Bald eagle flies
Right.
down.
Snatches the crow out of the sky. The dead presidents rise up, like Lincoln and all them, and they're, don't worry, we got this. And Abraham Lincoln like runs in and just starts beating the shit out of an evil ghost. And at the end of the day, Korea just becomes little America. And there's a McDonald's on every street corner.
That's China.
Just ends with them saluting a McDonald's. That would have been a great ending. But no, this movie's way better than that.
Yeah.
It's like, it's pretty. It's a really pretty
Yeah,
movie.
they shot this movie very well.
Anytime they show you the Korean wilderness, it's like, oh, I want that. I want to be there right now.
And even like the way they did that scene, like where they had the demon guy with the glowing eyes coming over, was that CGI?
Yeah,
Because
the eyes were CGI. I don't think they put contacts in. But
it looked weird though with the rock, because his body was getting bigger, but the rock was staying the same, and he was reaching down.
And
kind of looked like Attack on Titan a little.
And they were supposed to be like glowing red, so
Yeah.
I think that's why it was a CGI filter on the eyes.
Now, was that the Japanese guy?
Yeah, that was a Japanese man.
Yeah.
Because the health and tonic, so the buddy cops, right? Cop dad and buddy cop are hanging out at the station late at night, and buddy cop is telling him about this guy who went in the woods and he saw the Japanese man eating a deer, and then it attacked him, and it's like really creepily shot, and they show you that, and then it cuts to dad cop being like, nah, fucking bullshit. And then the power goes out, so buddy cop gets up to go flick the breaker, and they both start screaming because there's a fucking naked woman, dirty, just staring in the window at them, and they're freaking the fuck out, and they're like, you go deal with it. No, you go deal with it. So buddy cop goes to check, and she's gone. And then more murders happen. So now you're like, oh fuck, it was the naked lady that's murdering people. Because obviously that's where your brain goes. But the person murdered was the naked lady.
And the buddy cop was like, hey.
I recognize her. And then she's hanging from a tree.
Yeah, that was fucked.
She hangs herself. The guy on the fucking moped had the appropriate reaction to turning the corner and seeing that.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd do if I turned the corner and just saw somebody hung.
Jesus. And this is when buddy cop meets the lady, or dad cop meets the lady in white.
Yeah, because buddy cop's sitting out there and he joins them.
And then buddy cop leaves, so it's just dad cop hanging out.
But the whole time there's this woman just throwing rocks.
Throwing rocks at him. And they're like, ignore, just fucking throwing rocks.
You should now not sin. Throw the first rock.
He who is without sin shall throw the first stone.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing when there was a guy getting stoned to death and Jesus was like, come on, guys. We've all sinned once. Except for me, of course.
Well, Jesus sinned. He got angry and ruined the market after he saw everybody gambling.
Well, you're not supposed to gamble inside a temple, so it was justified.
He lost his temper.
It was justified.
That was supposed to be his moment of weakness.
And it was.
And after that, he took them up to the mountain and had a little retreat.
If his moment of weakness is kicking Jews who are money lending out of a temple, like, come on, it's not the worst thing you could have done. If he's got mad that people were
gambling in a church.
Yeah, like, you're not supposed to do that. I thought it was money lending, like they were debtors who were like, "I'll give you $2,000."
No, I'm pretty sure they were like gambling and
Yeah.
having
There's like 12 Bibles.
banquet.
There's like 12 Bibles, so who actually knows?
The Catholics. That's
yeah, that too. Well, I'm a Lutheran, so fuck me, I guess.
I'm a Protestant.
Protestant Reformation's ruined Europe. So she's throwing rocks at him, and then she's like, "Hey, I know who killed this guy. An old woman told me." And he's like, "Really? Fuck yeah, I got a witness." So he calls the chief, and he's like, "I have a witness to the murder. You guys got to get down here right now." And then he goes to talk to her again, and she's gone. And he's like, "What the fuck?" So he looks outside the
Here's
back.
some rustling.
So he goes outside the back of the house, and the fucking naked Japanese man's eating a deer there, and he screams because obviously.
Yeah.
And then the Japanese guy attacks him, and he's like about to bite his face, and then he wakes up,
So it's
screaming
like,
in bed.
Is the mushrooms? Is it
the mushrooms? Is it the nightmares? Did that happen? What's happening?
Yeah, this movie's kind of hard to follow if you're
In a good way.
And it's funny because like in a way you're paying attention better because you're reading the subtitles.
I would read the subtitles as quick as I could, and then I would look at the
what I would do.
screen because
Yeah.
stuff's always happening in the background.
And it sucks because like you miss like one little thing here and
We
there.
thought we missed an important piece of dialogue because at the end of the movie it was like, wait, whose side is who on? What the fuck's happening?
Who's the good guy? The whole movie we were watching is like, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
Wait, who's? Because they flip and they flop back and forth. Or no, actually, now that we know, it's pretty straightforward the whole way through.
Yeah.
But
we were rooting for the Japanese
we thought the Japanese,
guy.
and then they tell us that the Japanese guy was good, so we were like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we were right.
And then they tell us he is bad, and in fact, he's not just bad; he's the villain.
He's the fucking devil.
He's straight up the devil. I really wanted Christianity to be the hero of this movie. As soon as they introduced like a priest and stuff, I was like, okay, here we go.
That poor priest.
Yeah.
Basically, the buddy cop's like cousin or something.
Buddy
is
cop's nephew.
a training priest.
He's a deacon.
But he was in Japan, so he knows a little bit Japanese. So they brought him to be a translator when they went to the Japanese guy. And when they have to go through the woods to get to the Japanese man's house.
But that's the second time. Remember the first time? What happens?
Yeah, he came with them the first time too.
No, first time they go to the guy who told the story about seeing the naked man in the woods eating the deer, and he runs a health and tonic shop.
Oh, yeah, that's when they have to bring him and he gets hurt and stuff.
So the health and tonic guy, they go out in the woods. They fucking, like, the health and tonic guy's like, I'm not going any further than this, because they stumble upon, like, a bunch of dead deer.
Mm.
And he's like, this is your proof. Kill that Japanese man.
He's like, right over there, I ain't going.
This is still when everyone's like, you think, like, it's just paranoia.
Mm.
And then because there's a serial killer, they're like, oh, it's the foreign guy, of course, because that's what we do as humans. We're like, oh, it's him, obviously. He's not like us.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I was thinking the whole time, is they were just going to pick on this old Japanese guy who had nothing to do with it. So, the closer they get to the house, it starts downpouring, like, out of nowhere. And they wrestle with the guy, and he falls, and he hits his head, and he gets up, and he's like, I'm going to get you both fired.
I hope you both get
Struck by lightning. And then, boom, straight on the top of his head. He stumbles, falls over, and then they cut to the hospital, and he's fucking bandaged from head to toe.
Burnt to shit.
Because, like, lightning bolts, when they hit you, they go right through you, and they burn you, but they don't, like, incinerate you like that man was. So that was, like, divine lightning that... Because it, like, it hit him, like, 3 times, right? It, like, stayed on him for, like, a good 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Lightning bolts are one and done. That was, like, that was brutal.
It's God trying to cast him out.
Or the Japanese man, or the lady in white. Who knows? So this is when our main character starts to think, like, okay, this is a little bit weirder than just a fucking serial killer. Like, this is some monster movie shit.
Says him and the buddy cop have the argument. Where the buddy cop was joking, being like,
dude, I was just fucking with you. I was just fucking with you.
And then he tells me, oh, no, but I'm thinking, it was the mushrooms.
I'm starting to think it wasn't the mushrooms, man. I'm starting to think it's something else. And then buddy cop ignores him and kind of, like, leaves the movie.
Yeah, he comes back with the mob, though.
Was he with the mob?
Pretty sure.
I don't think he was with the mob. Yeah, because he had the cross.
Yeah.
When they go back the second time with the priest, and they get attacked by the dog.
Yeah, he was making fun of him because he had the...
Yeah, they like, what the fuck is that?
So basically, they pull up to this guy's house. He's not there, but there's a dog, like, barking like crazy.
Big old black mastiff monster.
So there's 2 separate rooms. Cop dad goes into one, breaks the lock. There's, like, a weird shrine.
With, like, rotting animals and stuff, and just...
And other guy goes into the other room, and there's like
in
like
the main house, and he finds a false wall, and it's just photos
of all the victims and everything.
like trinkets.
Yeah, like personal items.
And he finds Cop Dad's daughter's shoe in with all the trinkets, and that's when the dog attacks. And
then the whole time the dog's barking, and Luis just breaks out of the rock,
and they like shut themselves in the room, and they're like walling up, and then the dog stops attacking him because the Japanese guy showed up. And they kind of just leave after that, right?
Yeah, because basically the Japanese guy was like, what'd he say? I forget what he said.
Yeah, I forget what he said too, but they leave.
He was just being very calm, being like, they're just photographs.
No, that was later.
Was that later?
They go back to the Japanese guy's house like 3 or 4 times in this movie.
Oh.
See, we're on the second time, which is when they're driving home. He shows the shoe, and he's like, dude, I found this. So then Cop Dad runs home, and he's like trying to ask his daughter about the shoe. And up until this point, the daughter has been like apple of my eye, like loves daddy's little girl, hugs him,
takes care of him, brings him lunch,
clothes
and
they're super nice to each other. And then she's like being despondent and doesn't want to like talk to him. And he's like, what the fuck? And then she starts screaming at him and swearing at him.
Yeah, because he brings home the shoe, and he's like, that's not my shoe. That's your handwriting on the shoe.
Oh, I guess it is my shoe. Kind of like, go fuck yourself, Dad.
She was pretty much just being like, shut the fuck up, fuck you, get out of here.
Yeah. And screams in his face. You see the dad just sitting there like, well, that's never happened before.
Yeah.
And that's when the stepmom, or not the stepmom, the mother-in-law is like, yo, I'm going to contact a shaman.
I know a good shaman.
Well, the lady next door. They keep saying the old lady next door. They bring that up.
That poor old lady, man.
Yeah. But the old lady next door told me about a shaman. Also, the old lady next door is the one that found the people dying, and the old lady next door is the one that did this and that. And I think that's just kind of like a Korean saying, like, oh, the old lady next door. Yeah. You know, like Bob's your uncle kind of thing. And so I don't know. Shaman shows up. Let's just skip to Shaman Man because
yes, pretty much stuff happens. Did they go back about the photographs before the shaman? Yeah, so they go back there, they start interrogating him about the shaman, and then all of a sudden the dog breaks loose because the Cop Dad
grabs a pitchfork and he smashes it open, and he
starts smashing the house and everything, trying to get him to talk
and to try and find the evidence of the photos and the weird shrine.
And by the time he gets there, they're all gone. He's like, I burnt them.
He's like, and then he checks under the oven and there's nothing there, and he's like, where the fuck are they? And then the dog attacks him and he fucking murders the dog.
But he gets fucked up
with a fucking pitchfork, not a pitchfork, pickaxe, which sucked. I don't like watching dogs die.
Yeah.
But I guess it was an evil dog, so that's okay.
Yeah, it was one of the hellhounds.
I guess it's okay that he murdered it. And then the dog gets eaten alive by crows, which I thought was brutal. So then, basically, like, the dad is convinced that the man is evil monster, so he hires this like the best shaman ever, and he's like got a Rolex on and fancy clothes, and he's swearing and he's being not very shaman like, but then again, I mean, maybe he's the best. So
yeah, because the grandma was like, he's the best one.
Because like shamans in the modern age, they're not going to act like fucking monks from the 1600s, you know. They would act like me or you, who just happen to have magic powers, which I thought the shaman was going to turn out to be fake, but real fucking shaman with real magic powers.
Yeah, he did some shit. This is where the movie like turns once they start doing the ritual and everything.
Yeah, once rituals start happening, that's when shit gets weird.
Yeah.
Because they decide the daughter's possessed by a demon. So the shaman's like, I'm going to do a ritual to exorcise the demon, and then I'm going to cast a death hex on the ghost that attacked your daughter, right? And everyone in the family's like, whatever, man, do what you got to do. And it cuts to this. And the whole time, the shaman's doing his ceremony, the Japanese guy's also doing a ceremony. And we thought they were having a dueling shaman battle.
Yeah.
Which I think they were, kind of. But it turns out the Japanese
No,
guy...
I think once the cop dad broke the thing...
Like, broke the shrine and stuff, Japanese guy had enough power to get the demon out of him.
Maybe.
So the shaman's doing the ritual to exorcise the little girl, and then the Japanese guy's doing a counter ritual to get rid of the demon that's inside of him, because he completely changes demeanor. And after that, and the lady in white shows up after he casts the demon out, remember? So he casts the demon out. We think the little girl's been exorcised. Shaman is like, okay, this is good. But the little girl was screaming the whole time.
Yeah, because I think at this point, the Japanese guy was still the good guy. Because remember... Well,
he wasn't the good... No, he was bad, and then he was good after this ritual, I think. I think because Cop Dad was able to smash up the house and fuck with the ritual, that made the demon that was possessing the Japanese guy weak, allowing the Japanese guy to quickly do his little drum beat and sacrifice those chickens. And then, remember, because he was trying to put the evil spirit into the corpse that he found in the woods, which he successfully did, because the corpse comes back to the Japanese guy's house, but he's not there, and he attacks Cop Dad.
I still don't think he fully did it, though.
He was trying.
Yeah.
So Shaman is exorcising the little girl, but he's not actually exorcising the little girl. He's exorcising her soul from her body. She exorcising her soul from her body to try and get the demon to go into her soul, because it turns out Shaman's been working with the demon the whole time, but that's revealed at the very end of the movie. Yeah. It's very confusing. Yeah. So then Lady in White visits Japanese guy after that. Cop Dad goes to talk to a priest, and the priest basically says there's two ways you can do it. You got to kill the demon, I guess, or you got to kill your daughter, one or the other. So he gets his buddies together at like a deli, and they're like, let's go fuck this guy up. So they go with like lead pipes and like rakes and sickles and
bones,
just random heavy, hard things, or sharp. And they drive their little truck up into the mountains to find the guy, and they bust into his house, and they're looking for him, and they can't find him. A fucking zombie, like an honest to God zombie, comes out of the fucking woods. And they're all standing there like, are you okay, mister? And then it attacks the first guy, and they beat him. And then...
And I'm going to say this. If anything walks up to you, fucking eyes all crazy, skin teared, gun,
you hit him.
Just fucking hit it.
Well, they figure it out. They start wailing
that one guy, but then they're like, dude, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah. Well, because it's like... They're like, what if he was just really dehydrated, you know? Like... You never know. He could have had head trauma. But then after he bites the priest on the cheek and rips his like cheek off and the top of his skull.
Yeah, he bites the cheek and starts looking at you, trying to get to the brains.
Yeah, so then that's when the other guys are like, all right, let's kill him. And they just start beating him with objects. And they stick like a rake in the side of his head, and he doesn't die. And then the Cop Dad tries to hit him with a shovel, and he grabs the shovel out of Cop Dad's hand and snaps it in half and then hits him in the face with it. And then the zombie just dies.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't think he got it fully.
I don't think he got it fully either, because he was...
And that's what happened with... I feel like a lot of the possessed people were the Japanese guy trying to get rid of the demon.
And I think the shaman doing the ritual on the little girl was also kind of a counter ritual to stop the Japanese guy from getting rid of the demon. So then they chase the Japanese guys through the woods, because he was watching them fight the zombie, and they're like, look, there he is, let's fuck this dude up. And he runs and jumps off a cliff to get away from him.
Well, he climbs down and is hanging off the cliff.
Yeah.
Then he falls.
Yeah. Gets hurt. And then he sees the lady in white, and he starts chasing her in the woods.
Well, does he chase her, or does she chase him?
One or the other, I forget.
Yeah, I think she starts chasing him.
Yeah. And then the main characters are driving home, and the old guy fucking falls out of the woods and gets hit by the car, and they spin out, and then they decide like, let's just dump his body, because like, we killed the Japanese guy, we killed the demon.
And at that point, I'm like, so the lady in white is a bad guy.
Yeah, we were like, all right, so the lady in white is evil. All right.
It's all coming together. But no.
Yeah, no. And then is there more murders? Oh yeah, the daughter attacks the old lady with scissors.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck, she's still possessed. And that's when the shaman's like, I made a mistake. I cast the hex on the wrong thing. You know, it's the lady in white's evil, not the fucking shaman, or not the Japanese guy or whatever.
Or at this point, it's just totally playing them.
Yeah, where we're like, okay, what's happening now? And then the shaman gets attacked by evil spirits at his house, so he decides he's going to bail. Buddy cop murders his landlord, and they blame it on
the juice,
the mushrooms.
Pretty much, this is where the shaman's going down there, and the cop dad went to the shaman's place.
Oh yeah, cop dad.
They get to him on the phone, and he's like, "No, go home. I'm not there."
Yeah, go
then
home.
Then cop dad runs in the white lady.
Yeah, he runs into the lady in white. Well, no, first the priest goes, or the shaman goes to cop dad's house, and as he's walking up to go see the cop dad, the lady in white's there, and he's like, "Who are you?" Or no, he gets out of his car and he has a nosebleed, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then it like gets super bad, and then he's like gushing blood from his nose, and he looks over and he sees the lady in white, and he's like, "It's you. You're the one that's doing this. You're the evil spirit or whatever." And she's like, "Go away!" And he fucking starts vomiting blood and bleeding all over. So he gets in his car and he fucking flees. And then locusts attack his car. And he turns around and comes back, and he's telling cop dad to like go home and get your daughter right now. Cop dad shows up at his home, sees the lady in white, and he's still talking to the shaman, and the shaman's like, "It's the lady in white, she's the demon," or whatever.
Don't believe anything she says.
So he hangs up, and the lady in white is like, "Listen, if you go back home right now, everything's fucked. You got to stay here with me, listen for 3 like crows,
roosters,
rooster crows, and rooster crows. Yeah, crow from a rooster. What would you call it?
Cockadoo?
Yeah, no. Because like the lady in white's like, I put a protective spell and it trapped the demon. When the demon goes to try and take your daughter or whatever, you just gotta like hang out here or else. And she's like, you gotta trust me or else we all die, or else everyone dies. And he couldn't. There were 2 crows before he was like, fuck it, I'm going back to see my family.
Yeah. Just the nerves got into him. The shaman being like, don't let her tempt you.
Yeah. And then he goes into his house,
walks past the thing, the little
the protective charm shrivels. Ugh. And then he walks in, and the daughter has stabbed his girlfriend, wife, and the mother-in-law to death. And there's blood everywhere.
The blood effects in this movie are awesome.
Yeah.
Even the effects with like the boils and everything. Yeah. People, the makeup job, they did a great job.
And then it's revealed that the Japanese guy really was the devil.
Well, I think he actually died, and that gave the devil
he died when he got hit by the car.
Yeah. So he threw him off the cliff for dead, and then the devil took over the body. And at this point, the nephew priest guy went to confront him in the cave.
And he's got his cross and his sickle, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking fight a demon.
And he has the line, he's like, just tell me who you are.
Yeah, show me your true form, and I'll leave you. I'll leave you alone. And then the Japanese,
like, I'll let you leave.
The Japanese man goes, "What makes you?" He goes, "I'll show you my true form, but what makes you think I'm gonna let you leave?" Yeah. And then he starts transforming.
He looked cool.
Yeah,
I love that kind of the way the demons look in Asian culture and everything.
Yeah, the oni and shinigami and stuff like that. Yokai.
But yeah, so at that point you're like, shit.
So wait, the Japanese guy was evil, so the lady in white was good? And then our main character's dead, and his family's dead, and the little girl's just sitting there dumbfounded.
You're forgetting about the camera. The devil guy pulls out the camera and starts taking pictures. And the pictures he's taking are just pretty much the priest's reaction to his transformation, which is
and every time he takes a picture, he turns a little more demonic.
Yeah.
And I think the priest's photograph was in the photograph shrine at the beginning of the movie.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, it turns out the lady in white was a good guy. The shaman shows up at our main character's house, and he starts taking photographs of the body. And he goes out to his car, and he puts the photographs in a big box full of other photographs of
he drops it on the ground
of murdered people. So the shaman was working with the Japanese guy all along, and the lady in white was some sort of spirit trying to defend the town against them.
She was the town spirit.
Yeah.
You can't leave the town, can only protect the town.
Yep. So she was fighting to protect everyone the whole time, but
hoping the spirit would just go away.
Yeah, but we and the main characters misread her intentions. Because it's spirit world, man. It doesn't make sense.
Well, if they didn't have the shaman,
the shaman wasn't
like,
there.
She's bad.
But like, he had to go to the shaman because it was the only way to fight the Japanese guy, because he didn't know that they were in cahoots. It was his best option.
He was the best in town,
best in the land. More Rolex. designer clothes.
Hey, if I'm risking my soul, I want some payments.
Yeah, but that's not very Buddhist of you.
I ain't a Buddhist.
I also noticed that the statue in the Japanese man's shrine had a Buddha statue, but the head was cut off.
Yeah.
So that should have been like the big giveaway that, oh, you're a demon. You know what I mean? Because why would you? It's like it's like being the devil and having a statue of Jesus in your house. It's like, what are you doing with that?
Yeah, you might have some dark arts going on though to get rid of the demons.
Yeah.
Fight fire with fire.
Yeah, but that's not how Japanese. You've seen Inuyasha. You know you can't do that. You gotta get the jewel shards. Kagome and whatever.
But yeah, everybody should watch this movie.
Soundtrack. What did you think? I don't really remember it, which is good.
No, the soundtrack I was trying to pick up on a lot. It was very, you could say haunting.
It was eerie Japanese or Asian like stringed instruments.
Some of it reminded me of Bleach a little, which is kind of cool.
Never seen it. Don't wanna.
Acting was great. The
little
girl was a really good actress.
Something about Korean children, they can fucking act.
Yeah.
It really makes you hate like Dakota Fanning and stuff like that. It's like, you suck at acting, lady.
Cop Dad. He was a good bumbling idiot.
What's up with Korea? And you said it's because they want it to be more realistic, but everyone in Korea can't run for more than 5 feet without falling. That entire chase scene down the side of the mountain, like anytime.
Come on, if we were running down the side of a mountain, we'd probably fall too.
But like the way they were falling.
That fucking hill took a lot of people.
Yeah, that one hill, man, it was fucking people up left and right. Maybe the hill was the real demon all along.
That's the one that did it.
Costumes, perfect. That whole ritual scene with the colors and the sounds and the knives and like drawing the fucking nails into the wood and shit like that.
Yeah, it was shot very well.
It was so pretty and cool.
It was shot like with the music and the way they shot it. It's just very unnerving. And the volume goes up a lot on it. Because I remember when we were watching it, all of a sudden it just got super loud.
Yeah, and I was like, it's to wake you up, Chad. It's to get you ready for some crazy fucking shit. And boy, was that crazy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Between the little girl screaming, the shaman screaming, the people playing drums, the fucking animals.
It's like Hereditary times like 10.
Yeah.
The way it ramps up.
Hereditary was just okay.
I liked it. It was fine.
It was fine. Yeah. I thought it was going to be way scarier because everyone hyped it up. They're like, dude, it's a fucking demon.
Well, it was a good horror movie. You don't get too many really good horror movies anymore.
It's just like Studio A24 or whatever it is. It's like, for every one good movie, there's like 15 really just pretentious.
It's like Blumhouse.
Blumhouse is like...
Blumhouse. They make the theatrical movies and they have the Amazon movies.
But Blumhouse isn't trying to be like artistic. They're just like, here's a slasher, here's a zombie, here's a ghost movie. A24 is like, we're gonna do a twist on this with lots of pretension and.
Hey, Uncut Gems is a good movie. I don't care what you say.
It was boring. Lots of, what do you mean, man?
He's an angry Jew.
I'm a Jew. I'm a stereotype over here.
But yeah, watch
this. Watch this. Came out in 2016. Really, it's free on Prime right now.
Yeah, I was surprised.
We were gonna pay to watch The Witch, and then this was free. So
yeah, we saw that. So right.
I was like, I heard from a friend that it was good. Maybe I'll give it a shot. And my friend didn't lie. This is a really good movie.
Yeah, we were like, if the movie's bad, we're gonna
harass the shit out of him.
So for some reason you watched this. You're welcome for not getting harassed.
Yeah, the main character was awesome. Chad thought he was the same guy in The Host because he's racist.
It wasn't The Host. It was another movie, The Taxi.
Yeah.
Shut up.
just a racist. It's fine. Yeah, I don't. The misdirect, the entire. I kept saying, I bet this is a misdirect, but the misdirect that I thought it was wasn't the misdirect that it was.
Like it went from like thinking the ending to being like, oh, that's not how it's gonna go, to it going kind of way.
And I called out the ending. I was like, I bet the shaman and the Japanese guy are in cahoots. And I said that at like the first 20 minutes of the movie. And I was like, I bet they're working together. And then by the end, I was like, there's no way they were working together. No fucking way. And then they were working together.
Yeah.
So like I saw it coming. Then the movie tricked me and went, no, Chris, that's not what's gonna happen. I was like, all right, movie. And then it happened, and I was like, oh, you. I liked that.
Yeah. So far, our Korean movies 2 for 2.
We gotta watch a bad one.
We're gonna watch Let the Devil In.
Let's watch that North Korean animal cartoon.
Okay.
Have you ever actually seen it?
No.
It's fucking bananas. By the end, there's like wolves that can fly and shoot lasers and stuff. It's fucking bananas.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.